I could barely process what I was seeing when that bold stranger swaggered toward our table as though the entire restaurant was his domain. Without hesitation, he seized my wife's hand. The same woman who had already betrayed me leaned forward with a mocking curl to her lips and taunted, "Why waste time with this weakling? Dance with me and I'll show you what it means to be with a real man." His arrogance spread through the air like poison. I kept my face steady, my heartbeat measured, though my body felt wound-tight as a drawn bowstring ready to release. With trained precision, my hand shot out, locking onto his wrist. A quick twist, hard and deliberate. The sound that followed was vile and unmistakable, the crack of bone under pressure. The room froze. The chatter died. He fell to the floor, clutching his shattered wrist, writhing in agony while horrified gasps rippled through the crowd. The setting itself had once been a place I admired. A temple of elegance where ambition paired with indulgence over aged wine. Amber light spilled from chandeliers, glinting against crystal glasses, polished mahogany glowing under the warmth. The piano's gentle notes floated in the background. Yet tonight, all that refinement felt like a golden cage pressing against my chest. What once filled me with pride now suffocated me beneath the weight of betrayal. Across from me, Amal sat draped in sophistication. Raven hair styled in soft waves, a scarlet satin gown sculpted to her frame, flawless in every outward sense. But her beauty was a facade. Beneath the paint and poise there was only vacancy. The late nights at her firm, the hushed phone calls that died the moment I entered, the endless stream of excuses, it had all brought us to this moment. Tonight had been meant as a chance to mend, a gesture to bridge the cracks. Instead, it revealed the truth I had been avoiding. The shadow falling across our table should have warned me. And then I looked up to see him, mid-30s, broad-shouldered, confidence tailored into his very suit. His navy jacket clung perfectly, his tie knotted with calculated ease, his eyes a cutting blue that looked straight through me as though I didn't exist. His focus was only on her. "Amal," he said, voice smooth as honey but soured with conceit. "Didn't expect you here tonight." Her hand stalled halfway to her lips, the wine glass trembling slightly. Her gaze darted between us, panic flashing before she whispered, "Lucas, what are you doing here?" "Just enjoying the city," he replied with a grin, his tone casual, dismissive. Then, as if I weren't even present, he tightened his hold on her hand. Why waste another second with him? "Come dance. Let me show you what you truly deserve." The restaurant hushed as if every chandelier above had turned into a spotlight aimed at our table. Amal tried to pull away, but Lucas only gripped tighter. My fury cooled into something sharper, cleaner. Rising slowly, the scrape of my chair against the floor thundered in the silence. "You have 3 seconds to let her go," I said, each word precise, edged like a blade. He sneered. "And if I don't?" My answer was movement. My grip clamped around his wrist again, twisting with unflinching force. The crack rang out, loud, final. He collapsed, shrieking, his face twisted in torment. Amal gasped, her expression frozen in shock. Around us, diners sat suspended mid-motion, forks and glasses halted in the air. "Magnus, what are you doing?" Amal whispered, her voice trembling, raw with disbelief. I didn't look at her. I didn't answer. I crouched low, locking eyes with Lucas, his gaze wide and swimming with pain. My words slipped out in a near whisper, almost intimate. "This is only the start. You chose wrong, and I swear you'll regret it." Through clenched teeth, he spat back, voice jagged with agony. "You'll pay for this." I rose slowly, turning my attention to Amal. She sat frozen, color drained from her face. "We're leaving." My tone left no room for debate. After a long pause, she pushed herself up, heels clicking too sharply in the silence. Together we walked out, the weight of 100 stairs burning into our backs. The drive home was unbearable. Silence pressed down like lead, suffocating in its heaviness. Amal sat rigid, fingers interlocked so tightly her knuckles shone white, her gaze fixed forward as if daring to look elsewhere might shatter her. When we reached the garage, I killed the engine and faced her. Talk. My voice was level but edged with steel. She flinched at the command. Magnus, I don't know what you expect me to say. I want the truth. I leaned closer. Who is he? How long? Her eyes filled, but tears meant nothing now. Compassion for her had burned out long ago. Finally, she whispered, voice breaking, 6 months. It started 6 months ago. I had already known, but hearing it confirmed carved into me like a blade. My breathing stayed measured, control forced into place. And tonight, was humiliating me part of the plan? Parading it in front of me. I didn't know he'd be there. I swear. Stop. My interruption cut her protest dead. I saw how you looked at him. You knew. Her sobs echoed through the garage, but I felt nothing. Grief had already passed. In its place came cold calculation. At dawn, as silver light stretched across Geneva, I sat in my office staring at the skyline. I began plotting. Lucas would be the first to crumble. His curated life flaunted jets, champagne, custom suits. But through my contacts, I uncovered the truth. Crushing debt, collapsed ventures, lawsuits circling like carrion birds. I pieced it together methodically until the picture was complete. Amol moved through her days as though nothing had shifted, blind to the storm forming around her. Meanwhile, I gathered evidence. Messages, receipts, photographs, sharp enough to cut reputations to ribbons. When the web was ready, I pulled it tight. At a glittering charity gala, Lucas strutted among Geneva's elite. By the next morning, headlines screamed his ruin. Fraud. Corruption. Extortion. His accounts frozen, partners scattering, his empire disintegrating overnight. Amol's reckoning followed. Divorce papers slid across the table, my gaze steady as hers faltered. She tried to argue, but her defenses were already gone. The prenup ensured she left with nothing, neither wealth nor dignity. Even the social circles she had worshipped turned against her, whispers tearing down what remained of her name. In court, she stood stripped of strength, an empty shell. Magnus, she whispered after the final signing. I know I wronged you, but was all this truly necessary? I met her eyes. Choices carry consequences. Her tears clung to her lashes as she turned away, walking out as a ghost of the woman I once loved. Months passed, and my home grew quiet again, peaceful without her shadow. I poured myself into work, expanding across Europe, reshaping my life with precision. The wound she left behind hardened into a scar. Once raw, now a mark of survival. At another gala, I felt a gentle hand on my shoulder. Turning, I found Isabelle Fournier, a historian. She carried herself with ease, elegant yet grounded, confidence unforced. Her words were sharp but kind, her laughter warm and unpretentious. For the first time in years, something flickered awake inside me. That night, on my balcony with a glass of wine, Geneva's skyline glittering beneath the dark sky, I thought of betrayal and what it had carved into me. Pain had tempered me, made me stronger, steadier. Betrayal had broken me, but it had also rebuilt me. Lifting the glass toward the stars, I murmured a vow only the night would hear.